Next, I want to talk about agriculture in sub-Saharan Africa, but I'm going to take a slight diversion and go over a few concepts that we've talked about for tropical environments. So, a large part of sub-Saharan Africa, shifting cultivation is an important type of primary type of agriculture. And just a note about shifting cultivation, something we discussed in the Amazon basin, I want to go back over that. In tropical environments, especially rainforests, you can have rich surface soil, but poor quality soil underneath that the rain washes out much of the nutrients, and there's little organic material left over. So while tropical soils may not have the same nutrients, oftentimes that maybe a grassland soil in the mid-latitudes. This is an extreme example of a very rich soil in the middle of the U.S. compared to this nutrient-poor tropical soil. So in tropics, the nutrients are on top, not as much on the bottom. So forests are often, so with shifting agriculture, this involves what's called, also known as slash and burn agriculture, where a clearing is made, the vegetation is burned to provide some additional nutrients to the soil, and people can grow food for a certain amount of time here, but depending on the soil quality, there may be a limit to how long the soil will be productive, and when that limit is up, people have to shift to a different location and start the process over again. Now, the impact on the forested environment is not too big if the population isn't too big. Low populations have low impact. Now, in many parts of Africa, though, because there are higher populations, this can be more impactful, because these are formerly forested hills that have been pretty much completely cleared by shifting cultivation in Africa. We also talked about other, that commercial agriculture can be highly impactful as well. That's also true in parts of Africa as well. And other things like logging, mineral extraction, the problems that we talked about in the Amazon are also problems that occur in some cases more so, especially with oil development in places like Nigeria.